So you said that it took you a while to understand why that session was so effective for you. Reflecting on it, why was it so effective?
Yeah, so it was the fact that we basically did nothing while putting my body in balanced positions that led to me actually feeling better. Most people who want to feel a change, most people that have imbalances, restriction, nervous system, muscular system problems, we want to just get to work right away. What's the exercise? It's almost like, what's the strength way to do this? How do we use intensity to combat this internal problem? And that's what I've been doing for years. I felt this really big problem, very painful, very limited and restrictive, so very intense issue internally. And I was a hammer looking for a nail. What are the other really big, intense, big bang exercises I can do? That day, lying on the ground, down regulated my nervous system. It calmed down all of the overactive muscles. It gave the overactive muscles a lowered excitability. So it calmed them down. While the muscles that weren't really working too well, it started to bring them up to par. Essentially, it changed the body that I had. So when I did go do exercise, my chances of using the right and the left sides of the body were better together. The chances were higher that I was going to use the right muscles to move the right joints. And one of the mistakes I see people make in the corrective exercise world is people just go straight to like an ego thing. Let me just go give something that's going to break somebody. Let me make it hard. Let me make them intense. Because I don't think people have learned to value the opposite of intensity. And before any meaningful changes in exercises can be done, we first have to downregulate the body. We have to relax the problem first. Otherwise, the things that we're going to go do, we're doing with the problem that we're trying to change. And many people have the experience of maybe you got bad knees, so you go learn some like forward single leg lunge. Okay. And it feels better. Like it actually feels like you're making progress. And it's a huge win early on. But we tend to strengthen these movement patterns. And many people have this experience of getting stronger at the start, feeling better, and then another big injury happens. And then they have to take time off and then they start over again. So then they start off with the harder exercises. They get stronger, they strengthen the problem, strong enough to the point where they're going to get injured again. And then so begins this cumulative injury cycle over and over. What was so brilliant about this session was it was such a minimal amount of work. It actually gave hundreds of muscles the chance and opportunity to efficiently work better together again. It almost like peeled away the outer layers of movement impairments and gave the right side and left side a chance to actually communicate, connect, and work better together. So it was this playing with intensity that I don't see anywhere. I think people play with intensity, but the really high end of the spectrum of intensity. But it's like the softer, the lighter, the easier stuff, the things that have you saying, "What am I doing, man? This is a waste of time." It's amazing at how responsive the body is with those kinds of things. And let me give you an analogy, maybe an example to help maybe frame this or make sense of it. Ultimately, what we're trying to do with our bodies is work with our nervous system, right? We're trying to make a change with our nervous system. I want you to think about your relationship with your nervous system. When there is a problem, imagine as if it were a problem with a child. Let's say you're a parent and you've got a problem with a child. Are you going to bring intensity to that child? No. I mean, you could raise your voice, you could use aggression, you can use conflict, you can use intensity, which would probably escalate things, and maybe in a dominating, controlling way, you beat that child or you win the argument. But man, when you can learn how to meet a child with like softness and calmness, the same way anybody would de-escalate a situation where you create safety and you create openness, man, that's what creates a true change with our nervous system. And what I think so many people are trying to make a change with their body, and they're using this really uh, this really intense, insane approach that just almost overrides their ability to listen to themselves and work with their body. And so one of the things that I teach people is like, first, let's learn how to communicate better with our nervous system. Let's not use power, force, and dominating energy. Let's actually learn how to de-escalate tension. Let's calm down conflict first and then begin to move once we have a better foundation. And the results are freaking unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. And I think you know that if you've ever been in an argument with a loved one or a relationship, you know what it's like where tensions rise and a problem escalates. And you also know what happens when meaningful communication exists and you slip into this like safe place of like healing and love and trust. Man, if we can create that with our own body with simple down regulating exercises, the same damn thing happens. Progress in meaningful ways. It's pretty cool.